Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that absolutely defies all the usual expectations. We're talking about an international student who literally crashed right into the heart of mainstream Indian cinema. The entertainment landscape is shifting incredibly fast right now, and what we're looking at today is a masterclass in how genuine passion, digital culture, and traditional prestige entertainment are all colliding in real time.
So how exactly does a student from Lagos end up starring in a dark, gritty Bollywood thriller? I mean, it sounds like a movie plot all on its own, right? A young man arrives from Nigeria in 2019 to navigate a completely unfamiliar culture, stepping into the massive, bustling environment of India. And then, just 7 years later, he's making his debut in a highly anticipated crime saga alongside some of the absolute biggest names in the industry. It's a leap that requires an unbelievable amount of ambition.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, an unlikely Bollywood debut.
You've got to meet Ago Stanley Chiadozi, or as millions of people know him online, I Stand Boss. Now, when most folks move to a new country, they might pick up a few local phrases, try the food, and just sort of slowly adapt over a few years, right? Well, Stanley took an entirely different, fully immersive approach. He didn't just learn a little conversational Hindi. He became fluent in Hindi, Marathi, Bhojpuri, and Gujarati. And he didn't learn these in a vacuum. He used all these local nuances to make content celebrating everyday Indian life. He went out into the streets, engaged with the locals, and proved a genuine, deep-rooted dedication to the culture.
And wow, did that deep cultural dedication pay off? We are talking about a massive digital footprint of around 1 million followers. That's 1 million people tuning in to watch a Nigerian creator flawlessly navigate regional dialects and local customs. He wasn't just doing generic comedy, he was building a real community based on mutual respect and shared cultural appreciation. It turned him into one of the most recognizable and beloved foreign creators in India's incredibly crowded digital space.
Oh, and add a towering 6'5" frame to that digital footprint. You can probably guess he doesn't just have an audience, he has this incredibly commanding physical presence that instantly owns the screen. Casting directors are always on the hunt for someone who can just hold their own in a frame, someone with natural magnetism. Stanley absolutely possesses that intrinsic star power, making it incredibly hard to scroll past him on a phone and even harder to ignore him on a silver screen.
Moving right along to Section 2, Lagos Tings to Gangs of Wasseypur.
Okay, let's look at the timeline here, because it's pretty wild. The journey kicks off back in 2019, when Stanley first arrived in India as a student. Like a lot of us trying to decode a brand new culture, he turned to movies. Specifically, he sat down and watched Anurag Kashyap's cult classic crime saga, Gangs of Wasseypur. He actually used that exact film to help improve his conversational Hindi, pausing, rewinding, and absorbing all that gritty dialogue. Fast forward through 6 years of just absolute grinding on social media, building his empire between 2019 and 2025, and then bam, the ultimate payoff arrives. In 2026, he lands his major Bollywood debut in a film called Bandar.
And get this, the director of Bandar is none other than Anurag Kashyap himself. Stanley literally called it a full-circle moment, and you can totally see why. If he hadn't clicked with that very first Hindi movie he watched, he might never have explored Bollywood at all. Gangs of Wasseypur improved his Hindi and sparked his enduring love for the industry. Getting cast by the exact same director who unknowingly acted as his cinematic language teacher, I mean, that is just pure cinematic poetry right there.
Which brings us to Section 3, Directing the Debutante.
Transitioning from a fan sitting in front of a TV screen to taking directions from a master filmmaker is a massive, nerve-wracking jump. You'd think the pressure would be entirely overwhelming, but actually meeting Kashyap at his home, while the first half of the film was already shot, by the way, went remarkably smoothly. Stanley noted that over their 10 days on set together, it felt like he'd known his absolute idol for years. The whole environment fostered collaboration instead of intimidation.
Now, Kashyap is pretty famous for his gritty, intense, and exceptionally dark filmmaking style. Yet Stanley described him as "bahut chill aadmi hai," basically a very chill guy. He isn't overly strict, he's just straight to the point. If a scene isn't working, he tells you directly, no ego, no unnecessary stress. It was honestly the perfect, pressure-free setup for a digital creator to find his cinematic footing and deliver a really raw, authentic performance.
Next up, Section 4, Bobby Deol's Goon vibe.
The dynamic on set definitely shifted entirely when Stanley started working alongside veteran actor Bobby Deol. Stanley described Deol as having this intense goon vibe and called his performance simply, quote, flabbergasting. Stanley wasn't just showing up to recite his lines and clock out. He was getting an absolute masterclass in acting. Standing shoulder to shoulder with a veteran, diving into such a dark, complex role gave Stanley a literal front-row seat to the intense prep and execution required at the highest levels of cinema.
Watching Deol effortlessly tap into deep, painful emotions, specifically breaking down for a remarkably tough scene, was a huge turning point. It taught Stanley probably the most crucial lesson for surviving in this industry: total versatility. You see, being an influencer is usually about projecting one very specific, curated persona, but acting requires you to strip all that away. You've got to be able to just show up and inhabit absolutely any emotion you are handed, no matter how ugly or vulnerable it is.
All right, let's look at the movie itself. In Section 5, Inside Monkey in a Cage. Make no mistake, this isn't just a quick little cameo or a background gig, it's a genuine prestige project. Internationally titled Monkey in a Cage, the film is hitting global theaters on June 5th with some serious, undeniable momentum, right off the back of its premiere in the special presentation section at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival. A festival run like that means the global film community already has its eyes firmly fixed on this narrative.
And it's tackling some incredibly heavy, socially relevant themes. The film follows Samar, a fading TV star played by Deol, whose life completely spirals out of control after his former partner accuses him of a serious crime. Inspired by actual events, the movie takes a deep, unflinching look at power dynamics, how quickly the public decides who's guilty, and the complex, often tragic failures within the criminal justice system. It is a dense, challenging, and dramatic story.
Just look at the sheer scale of the production Stanley has stepped into here. He is sharing the call sheet with an absolute powerhouse ensemble cast. Alongside Deol, you've got acclaimed talents like Sanya Malhotra, Saba Azad, Raj B. Shetty, Jitendra Joshi, and Indrajit Sukumaran. These are critically revered, heavyweight performers. For a digital creator to bypass the usual stepping stones and debut directly among this tier of talent is practically unheard of in modern cinema.
But here's the crucial point. This debut is definitely not just a lucky, one-off gimmick. He is already booked for diverse regional projects, which really proves he's got serious, long-term ambition for the craft. Up next for him is Singeetham, directed by the veteran filmmaker Singeetham Srinivasa Rao, and get this, it's a Telugu musical fantasy. Going from a dark, brooding Hindi thriller straight into a vibrant Telugu musical fantasy, that shows he is fully committed to pushing his boundaries across all facets of Indian cinema. The big takeaway from all this is that the barrier between social media influence and prestige cinema is permanently dissolving. We've moved way past the era where influencers were just thrown into quick cameos for a cheap marketing pop. Today, creators who actually put in the work, with genuine linguistic skills, crazy work ethics, and real screen presence, they are claiming substantial, complex, and dramatic roles. The gates are completely opening for a brand new talent pipeline. So the future of entertainment casting is wide open. A fan sitting in Lagos, watching a movie on their laptop can literally, just a few short years later, be directed by the exact same filmmaker who inspired them to learn the language in the first place. As digital creators continue to shatter these traditional boundaries, it really makes you wonder, who will be the next fan to step right through the screen and into the spotlight? Keep your eyes peeled, because the next big star is probably already on your feed. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.